Welcome to our deep dive with Oleksandr Pronskyi, the design lead at MacPaw Inc. I'd like to welcome everyone on Zoom and LinkedIn Live. To all of you who would like to join us live and talk with Olex, you can still register on Zoom and join the live Q&A afterwards. So check out the awards website for the link to register. To everyone who's joining us now live on Zoom, a few basics beforehand, you know this all. Please mute your mics, but turn off your cameras, please. It's always great to see who you're talking to. Everybody who is on LinkedIn, but also on Zoom, you can post your chats you post your questions in the chats rather, and we'll bring them into the Q&A session. And of course, on Zoom, you can talk directly with Alex and me. Please participate actively if you want to. We're really glad if you join the conversation. My name is Ake Rudolph. I'm director of the UX Design Awards and head of strategy at International Design Center Berlin, IDZ. We're the awards organizer. A few words on us. The IDZ is a leading German nonprofit design institution. We are a professional association that connects designers, design consultancies, and companies with more than 50 years of experience. Our mission is to promote design as a driver of innovation, both in business and society. And the UX Design Awards are actually a flagship format that promotes the power of positive and people-oriented design worldwide. So the awards are handed out by expert juries twice a year. The current call for entries is closed, but the next one will start on March 1st. And you can actually register anytime to participate on the awards website. So if you're working on some great experience projects, be it products, services, prototypes, or even visionary concepts, then go for it and make it count. And we would be very happy to see your work in the awards too. But we're here to talk about UX and also to share knowledge and the awards design community. So welcome to our virtual event series. You can join us about twice a month and meet different award-winning teams. In deep dives, we feature design professionals, and the talent track events present up-and-coming designers. And we invite you to discover the different approaches, learn more about design and the development processes behind product solutions that were awarded in the awards, and meet the very diverse members of our UX community from all across the world. For more, just jump to our website or follow us. You can do so on LinkedIn, social media, Instagram, Twitter, whatever you use most. But now let's introduce today's award-winning case story. CleanMyMac X is a macOS solution that helps users to free up memory, speed up computers, and protect them from malware just with a few clicks. And the jury handed CleanMyMac a product award in 2021 with the following statement, and I quote, CleanMyMac X makes a complex, often non-transparent task easy for a broad range of users. It combines many functions and features in one coherent application. By giving just the right amount of visual feedback and information at the right time, it creates trust with the user. What really stands out is the app's state-of-the-art graphic design, which combines style with clear structures and intelligent data visualization. And in addition, it creates an immersive, atmospheric experience by playing with animation, sound, color, and much more. So with this, I'd like to introduce one of the makers and a key person behind this solution, Oleksandr Pronskyi. He's a design lead at MacPaw Inc. He is looking back at more than 12 years of experience in UI and UX and has a background in computer graphics. Before joining MacPaw, he worked at Booking.com in the Netherlands, where he has been responsible for the user experience consistency of Pulse, that's the official app for Booking.com partners. Currently, Alex is based in the capital of Ukraine, Kiev. So welcome, Alex, to tonight's event, and I'd like to hand the screen to you and the mic.
Hi, Ake. Can you hear me?
Yes, great.
Nice. So, hi everyone. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me. we were super happy to get the award, and our team is saying you thank you. Well, I'm trying to share my screen now. Yeah, can you see my deck? Yeah, nice. Ake, thank you for a good and detailed introduction. So I'm gonna do it really quickly as well. So I'm Alex. It's basically like a Ukrainian version of Oleksandr, so you can call me Alex. I'm the design lead at MacPaw, and yeah, I started designing in 2008. Previously, we're designing at Booking, and last 2 years I've been leading CleanMyMac X in design team, and I'm gonna tell you more what I'm doing there now. First of all, the consistency of the design language. It means from marketing materials like display ads to the final product, people get the consistent experience. It's visual, copy, whatever. So together with other colleagues, we're looking to consistency. Also, I'm dealing with design strategy and vision of the product, and also improving the process of collaboration and helping team to grow. Yeah, that's me. So the agenda is following. First of all, I'm gonna tell you about our company, the value proposition of the product itself, and I'm gonna do it really quickly and then switch to the main part, which is design process. I think you guys here for that. Also, we're gonna look at challenges we were facing and some ways we address them. And in the end, guys, I hope you will have some questions for me and I'll be happy to answer them. So yeah, get cozy, let's start. So our company started in 2008 as well, same year I started designing. It was a small company, just a bunch of students, and now it's 300 plus people and 2 cats, these bad boys actually. We are pet friendly and love cats and dogs, and we have endless passion for design and creating incredible software. And CleanMyMac is one of our products. Here you can see our full portfolio. Probably you've heard about Unarchiver. It has millions of users, same as CleanMyMac X. Yeah, setup, you guys probably heard one of those, right? And CleanMyMac is all-in-one solution for maintaining your Mac in the best shape. Like Ake said before, it's used for cleaning, speeding up the computer, and of course, protecting, because these days protecting from malware and different type of security breaches is really important. So yeah, it's smart cleaner, speed up tools, malware removal, and of course, file and app manager. Yeah, and here at the top, you can also see we have this app companion or app satellite, and you can check the stats of your Mac, how it's performing right now. And also you can run some actions from there. Let's say you have lesser memory, you can free it up and enjoy the speedy and snappy Mac, right? And as I said, it's all started in 2008, and it started as a cleaner, but then along the way we were adding more and more stuff like file management here. And here in 2018, we added malware removal. And I think it's one of the most important modules right now, Spacelens. It's like file management on steroids, really fun and easy to use. And the last update, major update, was last year or even this year. And we've made a redesign or like visual update, refresh. So this year, CleanMyMac started looks a bit differently, fresher, yeah, and more up to date. Hope you guys like it. And yeah, some facts, figures about the app. Yeah, in general, we free up 65 gigabytes of junk each year in average for the user. We have 30 million downloads of the app in 195 countries, so basically all over the world. And we are notarized by Apple. And this year we got into the App Store and we went through the whole review process. So the app is completely safe to use. And I'm gonna tell about this more later on. Yeah, also we were featured by Apple in the Mac App Store a couple of times. Like there was a list of apps for tidying up your computer and also apps for M1 processor, and we are completely optimized for that. So if you guys have pretty old or new Mac, CleanMyMac can help you. Yeah, some videos here like showing the process of Smart Scan. Just with a couple of clicks, you can do the maintenance of your Mac. As you can see, it's doing cleanup, protection, and speed up, like all in just a couple of clicks. And behind that, as you can see, there is like complex technology and safety database. So it's all completely safe and secure. We make sure that you don't lose any data or whatever. Our engineers updating safety database with rules and restrictions like every day. So we make sure it's all safe. The next slide. The next slide is malware removal. It's pretty easy, like you just enjoying the animation, and CleanMyMac basically checks everything for some threats and remove them if there are some. And there's this misconception that Macs don't have viruses or malware. Well, that's not true, and there are many antiviruses and malware protection apps, and CleanMyMac does that as well. SpaceLens, it's file management system. First, it scans your hard drive, creating the map of the space. And then you can check it in this visual way, like these bubbles. It visualizes where the space is, and you can navigate through these bubbles or like the list, wherever you prefer, and yeah, remove some junk by hand. Overall, CleanMyMac has 49 tools for removing various types of junk and optimizing your computer. And yeah, here you can see beautiful icons we've created. As you could see from the animation and here in the icon sections, we're trying to sweat every detail and create pixel perfect, like sexy design. So yeah, that's it for like introduction. And now we're gonna deep dive into the design process. I would say the stages are pretty standard these days. It's all started with research, and then we prototype and build some solutions, validate them with users, and yeah, iterate basically. So I will talk more about that in details. So research includes many things. First of all, qualitative data, user interviews, feedback loops, review on the App Store, social media, support logs from our support specialists, and dogfooding. Pretty much every colleague at MacPaw uses MacPaw products and CleanMyMac as well. And as for user interviews, sometimes designers do them, sometimes we have user researchers in the other department, and sometimes we use agencies for that, like external agencies. Quantitative data is very important for us. Google Analytics, some internal tools for A/B testings, and we're trying to have the balance between qualitative and quantitative data be, let's say, data informed. So it's not all like hard numbers, it's also people's experience, because not everything could be measured, but at the same time, numbers don't lie. So we're trying to keep the balance between those. Also, we have R&D team and some engineers working on like future-proof features for the product and exploring new capabilities of macOS or even other platforms. We also check the industry, market trends, competition, of course, what other competitors do, and trying to be in front of them. And yeah, surveys, we use a lot of surveys and asking for, let's say, future plans, features, or like current experience of people when they use macOS. Error logs, this is like technical thing. Engineers get the error logs if there are some bugs, so they check this stuff out. Yeah, as you can see, guys, lots of channels and data points, and my job together with other people is to basically sort and prioritize our solutions for that. User tests, we are using moderated and unmoderated user tests. We tried usertesting.com, and also we were hiring our users directly and ask them, hey, do you want to catch up and tell us how to use macOS, CleanMyMac? Sometimes, as I said, external agency does that for us and just provide us with the results. Yeah, this is feedback loop in the app. So in the corner of the app, we can ask users to rate some particular feature and provide us with free-form feedback. And also we have a Slack channel where all the App Store reviews comes in. So we always check this out. Basically, every morning I start with like checking what previous day reviews were. And sometimes we get really interesting insights from there. Prototype and build, and this is basically really standard, so I'm not going to stop on this really in detail. Sketching and brainstorm together with designers or with full cross-functional team. We gather together, sketch new ideas, brainstorm new solutions, and then create high fidelity or low fidelity prototypes. Personally, I use Figma and Principle, but some other designers use Framer or Protopie or whatever they prefer. For us, it's important that all the mockups are in Figma, so they centralized and we have one source of truth. And as for prototypes, it's not that important as long as we check the hypothesis with the end user. Sometimes we build fully functional prototypes with developers, so you can actually click through and get real data from your computer to get the realistic results. Also, we experiment a lot with some visual representation as well. As you can see here, like we were experimenting with 3D and even tried to make a 3D interface within CleanMyMac. And yeah, it was fun, and it didn't go to the interface or like full on for all the people. But then internally we tried that and iterated and find a different solution. We use alpha and beta tests sometimes. We have a Facebook group where all the volunteers from our user groups could participate. Sometimes we just ask them, hey, we have this idea of adding a light theme, for example, light theme to the product. What do you guys think about that? And we have this insights from our users really, really quickly. And sometimes we provided them with a fully functional prototype, like this is an early stage of Spacelands, a file management module, and they could download it and click and use it within their Macs and give us their feedback. And that was really useful. And we were iterating like 3-4 times with this feature based on beta tests and user interviews. Also we use some internal testing as well, but that's obvious. We just send the prototype internally in the office, and people can give us feedback on that. A/B testing, we use a lot of this. As I said, we're trying to be data aware, and especially when it comes to the main funnel, some let's say commercial screens like this, purchase screen or paywall. Like if you reach the limit of 500 megabytes of cleaning, then we showing this and saying, hey, please purchase to get the full benefits from the app. And here on the left, you can see the A branch. And first we showed this purchase screen to everybody on each and every module. And as you can see, just very generic and saying you can do this or that, just please buy. But then we had this hypothesis, if we show you can clean up this number, let's say 145 gigabytes, it has some facts, right? It's not generic. It's more convincing, showing the exact value that you're gonna get when you purchase. And also we're trying to add some emotion on top of the design. So we add in this cute illustrations, animation here and there. And we know from the interviews and feedback from our customers that people actually love that. And sometimes we get the feedback, hey, you guys don't use human interface guidelines or whatever. But for us, the main thing is usefulness of the app and the emotion people get when they use it. This B variation is now full on because, the conversion gets much higher when we using this. So this A/B test was successful. And also other tests, not always it's all about the conversion. Sometimes we use retention as primary metric. In this case, we were adding this reminder, a smart scan reminder that we were showing each week here in the app satellite, reminding people to run smart scan basically and to keep their Mac in a good shape. Sorry. And the experiment was successful. The retention went up. We were getting some feedback from our users saying, hey, thank you for reminding us. And it was great. We are trying to add value to people's life, but also get some metrics increased. Basically a win-win solution. That's one of our principles. And after getting some feedback from Facebook beta testers group about a white theme, we also tried that in A/B testing. Basically, our hypothesis was that it's not only about aesthetics, it's also about contrast and accessibility. As you can see, this black text against white background is really, really contrasting and easy to read. So we thought that running this change would increase the usage of the modules and actually people would read more and get more value from the product. But fortunately or unfortunately, we didn't get like conclusive positive results in that. So it didn't went full on. And that's the reality basically of any A/B tests. You never know beforehand. Personally, I loved there's light theme, but we don't design for ourselves. We design for the end users. Other A/B tests, we were running business models tests, trying different variation of business models. Unfortunately, I cannot tell more about that. Also pricing, like elasticity of prices in different local markets, even app bundles, selling the products together with some discounts. And yeah, like tons of incremental improvements here and there with testing primary and secondary metrics. Aki, I see your hand.
Yeah.
To ask something?
Yeah, actually, we got a question on these subjects from LinkedIn from Elizabeth Onoja. She's a product designer at Youngstars Development Initiative. And she asked, because you're talking a lot about user research here, which method do you think is most appropriate? And also she says, or she asks that and you outlined sketching, brainstorming together as both methods. And do you think they are interchangeable? Because she believes that brainstorming would be like the first stage to carry out and maybe testing the second. What do you think about this?
Yeah, as for the second question, yeah, the real estate of these slides are pretty limited. So I tried to not to cram too much stuff and yeah, combine these two, but it depends. Sometimes you really need to visualize ideas if it's a brainstorm about particular solution, but sometimes it's high level brainstorm, especially in the beginning of the quarter, when we're setting OKRs for the quarter, then we use just brainstorm itself and brainstorm high level ideas. Then it's not necessary to sketch. Yeah, I hope this answers your questions. And as for user interviews, it also depends for what we are using interviews. If it's defining or finding a problem, then it's one thing. But if it's validating some prototype, it's another thing. Then we check some scenarios. Sometimes we just talk to our users and have like free conversation about their usage of their Mac. And yeah, and indirectly we are trying to find some pain points here and there without particular scenario. So I would say it's very flexible.
Right, thanks. Sorry for interrupting your flow, but I thought that was really matching the moment.
Yeah, no problem. If you guys have some questions, I can answer them in the context, so it would have more sense. Yeah, I think this is it for A/B tests. Really useful tool, but it's just one tool in our tool set. As you could see, we use different methods for validating hypotheses, both qualitative and quantitative. Challenges. This is an interesting part. I think the first challenge is for us is building trust with the user and express transparency and clarity, because sometimes you're faced with users who distrust the whole industry of Mac cleaners. So they would say, we don't need this type of software, or it could be even dangerous. So I would say even here that it's CleanMyMac is safe. It's notarized by Apple. As I said before, it's an app store. So Apple team reviewed our software before putting it in their store. Yeah, it has like millions of users within like 13 years. And yeah, all the ratings are very high. And also we got published in many specialized magazines like TechCrunch or 9to5Mac, Forbes, wherever. So I think we use this for building trust. And of course, don't mislead or scareware or whatever. We always try to be transparent and clear as possible. I'm gonna share about that later on. The second both challenge and our principle is adding emotion on top of pure function, because it's a system utility and most of our competition actually does pure function. It's like very standard macOS apps and they also do the job, but we are trying also give some more value, like functional value, but on top of that, some really positive emotion, like delightful animation, sounds, eye candy, icons, and stuff like that. It adds a little bit of magic into that just plain interface, right? The next thing is expanding the brand perception beyond just cleaning, because even the name CleanMyMac says it's just cleaner, right? And it started like that. But along the way, we were adding more and more stuff, as I said before, and I'm gonna share how we address this challenge. And the last one, I would say it's more technical or like design related. It's different between Figma and Xcode in rendering, font spacing, colors, margins, this type of things. And unfortunately, we didn't find like easy solutions for that. So I would say we make it work by working alongside with developers, like sitting and nudging the elements together, like checking the colors. And sometimes the colors in Figma and Xcode could be a bit different, but we make sure that the interface that users see is pretty and accurate and easy to use. So we're not about design police in Figma, we're about the perfect interface that users see. I would say that. Now I would say more about building trust. As you can see, guys, the app is notarized by Apple, 30 million downloads, lots of ratings, positive feedback, some industry magazines like Next Web, iMore, iCreate, wherever they reviewed our app as well. And the most importantly, our users get the value from the app. As you can see, they could share the result of cleaning in Twitter or other social network. And for us, this word of mouth is the most precious because people trust us and they share the values they get from the app and share it with friends, family. I think that's a really trustful resource. Then for us, it's important to be inclusive. And for now, there's 14 languages. The main thing for us is to speak without like complex technical terms in plain English or whatever language. And the main flow of the app, which is SmartScan, is free of jargons or technical terms. It's all like human language, like remove unneeded junk, clean up, protection, give me a moment, we all wish it was easy as pie. It's really simple and friendly, a tone of voice, and we're trying to keep that across the app and marketing. I've touched upon that countless of times, but we try to be really easy and delightful when it comes to UX, and sweat every detail. Transparency and trust, we use smart defaults, so we have a huge safety database, as I said before. So by default, you don't remove any important or unnecessary information. And we also set clear expectation about what each and every tool is doing and what the results would be. So setting expectation is really important. We prevent data loss, handle errors. And yeah, there's a couple of things we don't do, which is we don't scare users or mislead users. Yeah, this as for transparency and trust, I think it's pretty much it. And this section is about building, expanding brand perception beyond cleaning. And it's all started with display ads or like search engine ads. We start to show more there, like we protecting from malware, we speeding up your Mac and things like that. So we're trying to tell users more about the value they can get. And then if people get to the landing page, we have several blogs explaining some other features beyond cleaning, like that. This is onboarding email series. After people download the app and register, they get these emails saying what you can do with CleanMyMac. This is assistant within the app itself, and after completing certain tasks, we suggest what you can do above that, on top of that. Like for example, here the system junk was cleaned, and then we suggesting, hey, scan for malware, locate user stuff, etc. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Design is never done. We're repeating the same process again and again, iterate, making sure that our product is staying up to date, and design is also up to latest trends and standards. This is our cat. As you can see, it holds somebody's arm saying design is never done. This is our design team, and we were super happy to get this award. Thank you guys. And yeah, I'm ready to take your questions. You can follow me and our team and our product company using these nicknames, I would say. Just Google us, and if you have questions and we don't answer them right now in this session, feel free to reach out in LinkedIn, Facebook, or whatever. I will be more than happy to answer. Yeah.
Great, thank you so much, and thank you so much for your openness and these very details that you showed us. Is there anybody in the call who would have a question spontaneously right now? Well, I do. Alex, you talk a lot about actually testing and feedback channels. And to me, this seems like mind-boggling. There's so many channels that you can get feedback to. So how do you actually structure this in the company and your teams? I mean, how do you structure this kind of feedback? Some gets to you, some gets to marketing, others get to other people. So how do you feedback it into to a process?
Well, I would say based on like how critical the feedback is. Sometimes, you know, you get just a couple of feedbacks, but they're super critical, like app, let's say, crashes. Then it's super important to fix that bug. And sometimes it's based on frequency. If we, let's say, saw this feedback 5 times, and then we're starting to see that there is a possibility for improvements. As you could see, there are lots of feedback channels and data points, and we're trying to prioritize based on, of course, the user needs and business needs, and find the balance there.
Okay, right. And about you said there is like 14 languages. The CleanMyMac is available in so many countries. So what about actually developing it for people from different cultures? How did you go about this? Because you talked a lot about making the interface very intuitive and conversational and guiding people, but still there is people from very, very different backgrounds involved. Is the app the same for everybody?
Yeah, it's we're trying to be universal and be relevant to general public in every country. But as for marketing, we work with Chinese agency, for example, for Asian market, because it's super different. Like the marketing there, how they sell products there is very different. So I would say Chinese and Asian market is different, and we have some consultants and agency from there, and also we have different nationalities within the company. So and use some consultants as well. If we were started selling in Japan or in Mexico, we also ask for feedback from consultants or specialists from that country. So picking up some brains.
Right. So you get feedback also from the different cultural zones. Is there another question on this? Is there any attention that you put in for designing for people with different abilities?
Yes, we have accessibility options like increased contrast, for example. Also, there is this voice over, so you could turn it on and then it would say with the voice what you can do, and you can run cleaning with your voice. Sorry for my English, I don't know how to tell it properly, but we address the needs of differently abled people, that's for sure.
Right. I get a couple of questions by Billy from LinkedIn. This is Elizabeth again. She has this technical question: what kind of technology stack was used to build the app?
I know that our engineers uses Xcode, but to be honest, I don't know that much about super technical stuff. But you can reach me out on LinkedIn or whatever, and I can pass this question to our engineers if it works.
Right.
Alex, would you please stop sharing the screen, because the viewers on LinkedIn only see the presentation. Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, we didn't know that, so that's much better. We can see faces now. Hey, there is a question from Jeffrey Yam. Besides increasing users and subscribers, how do you measure success?
Sorry, come again?
So besides just measuring quantitative numbers of users, subscribers, are there any other elements how you measure success?
Yeah, as I said, it's qualitative data as well, showing the prototypes in front of the user and getting their feedback first. So it's much easier and faster than running experiments, right? So I would say first we try getting qualitative data from users, basically user interviews or beta tests, alpha tests. And then A/B testing is, I would say, down the road, we run A/B tests.
Well, Jeffrey, actually, you're here in Zoom call, so please feel free to add on if directly and personally if you want to expand on this.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Right. Welcome. Can you turn on your screen? That would be great.
It's very early here.
Okay,
so,
go ahead.
Yeah. So what I was kind of alluding to is, do you have any kind of KPI framework? Any kind of key points of interest or key performance indicators that you measure or you observe, whether in analytics or in research?
Yeah, definitely. I would say we have key metrics such as conversion, like revenue and retention and other stuff. Probably I cannot share everything with you, but we have a bunch of key metrics and some secondary metrics that can help us to understand how successful design or the feature is. And as for validating with qualitative, we just looking through how many people passes successfully some scenarios.
Gotcha. Do you have any attitudinal metrics, like, you know, in terms of how satisfied users are attitudinally?
Well, sometimes we get this framework, like, would you recommend this app to a friend? Sorry, I forget how it's called. A bit nervous. So yeah, we use surveying as well sometimes, and in-app feedback loops. So.
Awesome, thank you. And yeah. I have one more question here since I'm already on here, which is how do you balance, this is the challenge that we face all the time. How do you, because we have a small team, how do you balance responding to the plethora of insights found during research and analytics, of course, versus building out new products and enhancing features?
Sorry, I didn't get the questions because the internet is not good.
Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I heard the end of the questions, like how do you balance between qualitative and quantitative data, but what was the beginning of the question?
Sorry, it's how do you balance responding to the insights that you get from research and from, you know, analytics and things like that, versus actually putting the level of effort into building out new products and feature enhancements.
Right.
It's always a struggle here.
Yeah, I think we're trying to address all of this because we have several teams in CleanMyMac, some of them focusing on developing new functionality, new features. And there is a team for maintaining the current app and how it's running, supporting the latest OSs and how key modules work. So it's different teams, basically.
Gotcha. Cool. Thank you.
Right. I would add on something else, another element maybe on this, because you talked a lot also about a USP that CleanMyMac has, which is about being emotive, about emotions, and which is different from other solutions that or other solutions in the market. So do you see these emotions as not only a USP, but actually or do you measure them? In terms of like getting arguments, positive arguments for UX design, also towards management, in terms of having a positive effect?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. Of course, it's really tricky to measure like your emotions. Probably there are some brain scans or MRI or whatever, but we don't have that technology, unfortunately or fortunately. And we are trying to base on our like taste or our visual, you know, the vision basically. And as for selling this to a manager, our CEO had this really good eye for details and for the design. So I would say that the company was built based on design first. I think that in this company, you don't have to prove that designers should have seated at the table. It's by default like that. And,
which is a great situation. And this could be something to build like a kind of framework of maybe emotive KPIs for others to use.
Well, we don't use KPIs for emotions, but we get a lot of feedback during user interviews or like in social media. People love that because like most of software these days is quite standardized and looks pretty much the same. So for us, it's also a matter of branding. Like if you see our screen, like main screen, yeah, it breaks guidelines or whatever, but you immediately see that it's CleanMyMac and it brings you like some emotions.
Right. Alla, you had a question here. You're in the call actually. Would you like to ask it yourself? Because it really fits well here.
Okay, yeah, I can ask it. So I was wondering if, would you say that from the standpoint of UX UI, creating this, like you said, like eye candy design, which is aesthetically pleasing, and I was really attracted to, like when I saw the product, it really attracted me, and I thought that I've never seen an app that just cleans your Mac that looks so beautiful. And so I was wondering if you think that this is one of biggest advantages you think you created to separate you from your competitors in terms of like UX UI, like this beautiful design. Thank you.
I would say it's, first of all, thank you, Ala. It was very heart touching to hear all of this feedback. And I will pass this feedback to our team today, so to make their day, basically. And I would say definitely this is one of selling points of the product and the brand itself. And always we hear the first is that it's very easy to use, like just tap, couple of clicks and you do all the maintenance. So I would say it's one of the selling points, but the first one I would say it's ease of use, because yeah, just 2 clicks.
And the magic happens in the background, right?
Yeah,
Ala?
exactly.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I also was gonna ask, do you think that using, like you said, like simpler language and avoiding like technical jargon, it also makes it like really easy to use and also attracts the users?
Yeah, exactly. Because, you know, if somebody is engineer or has some technical background, they can do some of this stuff in command line, like, or in terminal, right, in macOS. And we are trying to address these issues or tasks for like regular people, basically like myself. I don't know how to use terminal that much, or like what is this or that cache, these kind of things. So we're trying to build a software that is really understandable. And yeah, if users can check the website and the app itself and get what it does in simple language, then yeah, I would say it's also one of the key selling points, right?
And I think that brings me to, thanks, Ala. I think that brings me also to something that's been nagging in my mind, which is, I think, very important, because I wouldn't know how to use the monitor either, and I don't care personally. I want a solution and I want help, and I think CleanMyMac X does this very well. But as you try not to build a solution for experts, but for normal people, how do you prevent errors? How do you mitigate for failure?
Yes, first thing is smart defaults. Like we pre-select everything that is super safe to delete or remove. But then you can always expand that list and go and check everything by yourself. But we also have this messages or warnings if there is something that could be dangerous to remove. And that's the second thing for prevention, saying users and warn them if there is something that could be harmful.
Which could be, for example?
Not really. Like sometimes we get this feedback, but our engineers get in contact, and usually there's solution for that. And yeah, I would say it's very safe and you won't have any problems.
Oh, but you said there is a warning to the user if if the user by accident might remove something that is important.
Well, we always have this warnings if there are something. So you have to be really conscious, so you couldn't misclick it.
Right, which is about leading the person, which is about giving a good experience, of course. What happens if I accidentally delete something from my computer? Well, or is that not possible with CleanMyMac?
I would say that's less likely to happen, because by default, even file management modules, they don't remove completely. By default, they remove to trash bin, for example. And as for like system junk modules, they don't remove something system. So they basically clean some caches and this type of things. So yeah, by default, it's impossible to basically delete something that is harmful.
Right. Great. There is a question actually, which is a detail, but probably still very interesting, from Hussein. He's a UX designer. Which is your preferred source for secondary research? He uses Google scholarly articles, but he's wondering if there's anything else, any other sources that you would suggest?
I would say for me, like also the main source of insights is our design team. Like we have more than 30 people, like very talented. And when I talk to them, even like water cooler conversation or there's some hop on Zoom, yeah, you always get something new that you didn't know. And we have the multidisciplinary team, like animators, illustrators, and product designers. And yeah, you always get new information when you talk to people. And for me, it's the most preferred one, rather than just, you know, reading some blogs. And yeah, but I always check Twitter and design Twitter and some Medium articles, but that's standard.
Right. Of course, when you talk with others, then you not only read the words, but already ideas come up in the conversation.
Yeah,
and this is what you mean.
Happens. Yeah, magic happens when you like bounce ideas off each other and some new articles or whatever.
Right. I have a maybe a different topic there. Something that I'm very curious about. You said the company is based still in the Ukraine, or was funded in the Ukraine, and you're still working there. But you also have a second leg in California, right? At the West Coast in the States?
Yeah, right.
So what is the function of, do you divide functions and roles between the two offices, or how do you work together, and what are the tasks there? Just to understand a little bit, you know, the MacPaw universe.
To be honest, I don't know that much about these details. What I can say, like most of the people work from Ukraine, yeah, but there are some people there as well in the US.
Which probably makes sense to be at the source if you work together with Apple. And so.
At the global company and the US, you know, it's one of the key markets for like pretty much every company. So you got to be presented there.
And talking about Ukraine, because I think I know a little bit. I originally come from Poland, but to many people it might be new. I mean, there is both Ukraine, but also Central Eastern Europe, the Baltics. They enjoy a very high reputation for quality in IT and tech talent. So can you tell us a little bit more about the IT ecosystem and the talents that you can source from in Kiev, Ukraine? How is the situation there on design, on coding?
Yeah, I think it grows really quickly and developing really quickly, because there's lots of technical universities, and these days most of young people want to get into IT here in Ukraine, because other sectors of economics, you know, are not that developed just yet. Yeah, everybody wants to try some IT and design and development. Yeah, I think it's really good quality here, good culture, and people are very competitive, you know, when it comes to coding or design or whatever. So it's not just chill, and I think it's really good. It's really good here.
There was actually questions from the LinkedIn audience about this. So how do you young UX designers start in the business in Ukraine? Maybe is there networks, groups, or maybe do you even have an internship outreach program for new talent yourselves at MacPaw?
Well, first of all, I will have like add integration. We have an internship here at MacPaw like every year. So you can apply in May usually. So we also help young talents to get into the industry, and both like design development, some other specialization related to IT. And so, yeah, internship is definitely there. Some courses as well, and some this diploma project in these courses. Some other companies join the last lesson or whatever, some diploma project, so they can hire people after this course. Some networking events. What else? Some design contests even, because there are some synthetic problems to solve, but still some people could express and share their experience and create some good project. Why not? It's really good.
Right. So if you're interested in working at MacPaw, reach out to Alex and colleagues.
Yeah, right.
I have a question also, Yumel, because the design craftsmanship is really high at CleanMyMac X. It's superb. The color, sound, visual graphics are great. Is this something you would say you particularly focus on because of your core user group, Mac users, who are very often people working in creative industries? Or do you think the same should be also in business solutions and other fields as well?
Well, it depends. Once I was on the conference and there was some actually Polish bank there, and they made a redesign, make the bank interface really friendly and pretty, you know. And the downside was people trusted less in that really good interface because they get used to ugly banks, basically. So I would say design should solve the problem for that particular audience. And in some sectors, like design not got to be ugly, but it's not necessary for that industry to be pretty and, you know, sexy interface and icons, wherever. But for us, it's definitely an advantage and unique selling point, as Allah said. Get pixel perfect, like pretty nitty-gritty solution. So for us, yeah, it's definitely a must. And as for Mac users, they definitely get used to much higher quality of graphics, of interface, because, you know, Macs and iPhones were created with this in mind by default. And in other platforms, like even Windows, if you install the latest Windows 11, still you can drill down the interface and find really outdated Windows from like Windows 2000 or whatever. And in Mac, it's all like, it really sets the high level of bar for the quality.
Right. Yeah, I can absolutely see that you need to fit in the area and where you work in. We talked about this a little bit beforehand, that there is controversy around many solutions like CleanMyMac, and there's even some IT technicians who claim that they actually do the opposite, slow down the computer. What would you say to that?
Well, I've touched upon that. It's really good question. Sometimes we get this feedback that, hey, the app is not needed, or the second is that it's not secure. And it's not only about CleanMyMac, but the industry of or niche of cleaners. And it's, as I said before, it's completely safe, and it's reviewed by Apple. It's notarized by Apple, and it's even featured by Apple in the Mac App Store in some lists of tidying up your Mac or M1 optimized apps. Some reviewers from industry-leading magazines who are reviewing it, like TechCrunch, 9to5Mac, this type of things. And as for safety of use, we have this safety database that our engineers are updating each and every day. So they add in rules and restrictions to some system files and other like system paths. So we make sure that we don't delete anything that is harmful or necessary. So it's completely safe to use. And also on topic of usefulness, it's not only a cleaner, as I said before, it's also malware removal, and safety and security is a really hot topic these days. So CleanMyMac removes malware, scans malwares. Also, it helps to speed up the computer and manage your files. Basically, it's not only about getting more gigabytes, it's also about removing clutter, basically, organizing your files. So with large and old files on space lanes, you can do exactly that and tidy up your Mac. So yeah, it's safe, secure, and very useful. You can try it out, just download free version.
Right. Yes. In terms of data security, I mean, this is really a challenge. You're right, and it's a growing one. And I was wondering about your personal opinion. What do you think will be the biggest challenges around data privacy and data breach, maybe in the future? Do you work on these topics?
Yeah, definitely. We have like the whole department of analytics and engineers who work on solely on security, not just for CleanMyMac, but for other apps that we're developing. So for us, it's definitely one of the key areas because the Macs have more and more memory built in. So we are trying to focus on other stuff, such as security. And it's a hot topic, so we're definitely trying to address it. And as for like in general, it's really good to change your password, use safe passwords, and don't connect some unprivate networks, and this type of things. I became really obsessed and really scared of all of this. So yeah, hopefully we will be safe. Yeah, hopefully this answers your question.
Right. Well, I'm not an IT expert either, so I was wondering, and of course, sometimes it's the most obvious stuff that we omit or forget, and that's absolutely true. One last personal question I have to you. I mean, you work in design, visual design, UX, and so what are the developments maybe in this field in UX design that excite you the most? What do you think will be the next steps? I mean, what will be the next really keen stuff in experience design?
I would say metaverse. It's a really hot topic these days. But yeah, I think the amount of money people invest in these technologies like Microsoft, NVIDIA, and of course, Facebook or Meta, if you will. So it's enormous investment, and I think the technology is quite ready. Yeah, so maybe in like 5 years, I think it might be like mass market technology, because previously, like 5 years ago, there was Oculus or Google Glass, but it was super early, and I think these days it could be mainstream. Like there is this. Hoax that even Apple gonna release or announce their glasses next year. So big players are going to this market. I assume one of them at least will hit the strike.
So the next step that you are looking forward is the solving of the virtual and the real, or the merger of both.
Oh, a merge, yeah. augmented reality is also, I think, it's really good. It could be used for like real situations and real scenarios, not just games.
Exactly. What would be the one challenge that you would like to solve in a metaverse?
I don't know, to be honest. That's a really good question. I would say I would want to help people to stay like conscious of the current moment, or how do you call that? Because it's really easy to lose your sense of reality if you spend a lot of time in virtual space. So yeah, maybe some meditation app in virtual reality, meditation yoga classes or whatever. That would be fun.
Or maybe just an app that sends you to the next yoga teacher, or a person that you might not meet personally if you didn't know about him, and then turn off your phone and get back into the physical verse. So Alex, thanks you so much. But I think you just gave me the cue to get everybody out or away from the screen right now. So thank you very much for these insights. Thank you very much for a great, nice talk. To everybody out there, if you have follow-up questions, Oleksandr invited you to reach out over LinkedIn or whatever other channel you would like to, and keep the conversation alive. Alex and the team, thank you very much for joining us tonight, and all the best for the future, exciting new products. And to everybody out there, thanks for being with us here. We would love to welcome you to one of our upcoming events. The next actually will be on January 12th. So we're making a small break over the holidays, and we will welcome then the next product award winner, which is HP Tango. It's a one-stop shop service experience that is built around ease and use and sustainability, actually around an everyday product, a printer. So follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, or Twitter, or jump to the awards website. As I said, you can register there for the next events, but also for the next awards. And well, thanks a lot for joining us. It's been really a nice, insightful talk, and a wonderful product here with Alex. Have a lovely day, morning or evening, wherever you are. Stay healthy, stay safe, and have a successful end of the year. And see you again soon, hopefully. Bye-bye to everybody.
Likewise, Aki. Bye.